bloody rage, social unrest, murder.
It all started with the assassination of none other than Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary.
He ruled over a polyglot empire full of people of different religions, political views, and nationalists. They were united by a flag that was not their own.
He refused to listen to any of his military leaders about the conspiracies and the secrets of the secret societies that were coming up. It was a teenager who assassinated Franz Ferdinand. The Black Hand Group was a group of young terrorists that had been plotting to kill Franz Ferdinand for quite some time. The group was made up of 10 members in 1911, but by 1914 there were well over 2,500 members. The group included members in high government and army rankings that were willing to fund terrorist plans. According to some sources, it is said that the Syrian government was well informed of the government's plans. Ferdinand was visiting Sarajevo when Nedeljko Kabrinovic, a Black Hand member, threw a bomb, but it missed. Unfortunately, the driver was taking Ferdinand and his wife to visit the victims when
the Archduke's car rolled in, turned right, and stopped right here, as the driver was told they actually wanted to go that way. The driver stalled the car. Princip took his pistol out of his pocket and fired 2 shots at 1.5 meter range. The first hit Sophie in the abdomen. The second shot grazed the jugular of the Archduke. They were mortally wounded.
After the assassination, Serbia claimed they had nothing to do with the terrorist group. Austria-Hungary, in response, gave Serbia an ultimatum full of high demands. Serbia never complied, leading to Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia. Austria-Hungary wanted to stop any printing of propaganda against them and their government, to remove military leaders suspected of propaganda, and the teaching force should only teach the positives of the Austria-Hungary government. Also, Serbia was to collaborate with Austria-Hungary to abolish the subservient movement. In addition, they would have a judicial trial with the people involved in the assassination. They would have to notify the government no later than 5 o'clock on Saturday evening, the 25th of July.
With such outrageous demands, the government of Serbia had no choice but to not comply, and Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Serbia thought they were finally going to get their independence because Austria-Hungary was no match for Serbia, with Russian forces backing them. Ferdinand was warned about the secret societies that were against the Austria-Hungary government. If he had listened, maybe things would have worked out differently. The Black Hand killer was certainly the one for the job.
Here you might have expected, at the very least, that the Archduke be put in an armored car, or at the very least, in a car with a top. Instead, he rode through Sarajevo after the initial attempt in an open car with his wife.
Serbia felt confident going to the war against Austria-Hungary because they had the Russians to back them up. Russia at the time had the biggest army out of all the nations.
Although Russia did have a big army, they were way behind in their weaponry technology that they used. They were still in the process of catching up with other nations that went through an industrial revolution.
The assassination for Ferdinand was really the tipping point of all the bubbling factors that were influenced in the start of the war. Imperialism and the competition for more resources, along with nations, already created this underlying tension between them.
Nationalism of the countries added to the bubbling factor of the war. People were more eager to get involved to show their military power and prove they were the best.
Social unrest in the countries itself made the government more willing to take part in the war because the government officials did not want to deal with the problems of their country.
Great Britain, for example, was dealing with people protesting their wages. In America, the suffrage movement was taking place. Women were trying to fight for their rights. They hoped that the war would unite the nations to continue to fight for a more united cause.
Entangled alliances was one of the major causes of World War I. After Serbia rejected Austria-Hungary's ultimatum, Austria-Hungary decided to declare war on Serbia. Serbia knew that they had Russia's backing and that they'd be able to squash Austria-Hungary.
Germany decided to side with Austria-Hungary and got involved in the war by going after France, who was an ally of Russia. The Germans made up a plan, the Schlieffen Plan, in order to invade France. The Germans decided to go through neutral Belgium to attack France before they would see it coming. The invasion of Belgium angered Great Britain, and Great Britain decided to unleash their great military strength on Germany and its allies, leading to a world war.
No one knew that the war was going to be this brutal. It was supposed to be a small war between two countries turned into a bloody battle where he lost thousands of lives.